Hello, welcome everybody. Monica, Empower Your Health, Empower Your Life TV. At Empower TV, we connect you with health and wellness resources so that you can create the life you want and the life you love and empower yourself in the process. So welcome. I'm broadcasting from beautiful Florida. I'm sorry I'm not on the beach, but I think this is a better audio and video quality this way in the hotel room. And anyway, I'm really excited to have a fabulous guest who's going to give you tremendous value today. And especially if you are a business owner or a business owner who's starting up in a service-oriented business, if you're a therapist, if you're a coach, a trainer, and you're trying to ask yourself, how do I reach out to people and how do I create this wholesome business where I can not only strive for success, but I can actually create a balanced, beautiful life. So we have a great guest to give you some advice and some insights and inspire you, hopefully, and inspire you to reach out to her as well. So welcome, Heather Hammel. She's the MFR coach, and MFR is myofascial release. I would imagine there's a lot of myofascial release therapists who would be listening to this. But if you're not, it's a beautiful form of therapy that helps people with chronic pain. And so I met Heather many years ago, I think,
Mhm.
a decade.
Been at least 10 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right? And so we actually studied at the same form of therapy, myofascial release, and met at different seminars, which was a wonderful experience. And Heather, after being a very successful myofascial release therapist, she decided to empower others to actually create their own businesses as myofascial therapists. And I just want to say a few words about Heather using her own words, and then she can introduce herself as well. So Heather says that her mission is to help 100 myofascial release therapists or more to discover and plan their path to earn 100K more or more in their MFR business. And she teaches you how to talk about MFR, how to sell MFR, and how to set up or tweak your MFR business so that you can understand exactly what is possible for you in your business and in your life. She says that her clients understand exactly what action to take, what not to worry about, and how to self-coach to understand their brain and make it work for them. Her clients learn how to make money, how to have a business, and how to help a lot of people. And once this is learned, they can always do it again.
That's right.
So welcome, Heather. Yes,
Yeah, thanks for
and that's
having
exactly what
me.
you do.
That's right. That's exactly right. So you're right. I am the MFR coach, and I help people who have been trained by John Barnes in myofascial release to either start their own businesses or tweak the businesses that they have so that they are no longer under earning and burning out. Because, you know, like lots of people are in pain out there, and we need as many people as possible out there helping people to get out of their pain and back to their active lifestyles so that they're living their best lives.
Beautiful. I love your mission because you not only help your clients, but you help others to help more people.
Right.
Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you arrived at what you're doing right now, and what made you take that big step to actually, expand your business in this direction of helping others?
Sure. Yeah. So I had a brick and mortar business doing myofascial release for over 10 years. I loved it. I built it. I started out working in my basement and moved several times, got bigger and bigger, had an employee for a while, then didn't have an employee. I've done it all in my myofascial release business. Um, then when we had the pandemic start, I was shut down for a brief time. And that during that pause, I was kind of like looking for something to do and like, how could I keep helping people? What could I be doing? And I hired my very first life coach. And I, prior to that, always thought that the idea of life coaching was really ridiculous. Like I was just like, if I ever heard somebody talking about life coaching, I would just kind of roll my eyes and just be like, whatever, just kind of very closed off to it. So, um, I just had the best life coach ever come into my life, and I hired her. She was a life and business coach. Her name's Tavana Denise. Was a physical therapist turned life coach. And through working with her, I really was able to see how much of a role my own thoughts, like all of the sentences that I have in my brain, going through my brain 60,000 times a day, were influencing my life, my relationships, and the way I was running my business. And I was like, this information, like everybody should have this. And I can learn this and I can then help other MFR therapists with their struggles in their businesses, and they're going to love their businesses even more. I used to run a study group through the myofascial release community, and you know, everybody was coming there for the skills and the hands-on techniques, and all I wanted to talk about was business. Like I love MFR, don't get me wrong. Like, please give me all the treatment and I will give you all the treatment, but let's just talk business, right? And so that was a passion of mine that I think I kind of shoved down and didn't give a lot of time to because I was so busy running my practice. So went to the life coach school. That's actually what it's called, the life coach school with Brooke Castillo. Learned how to use the model and started coaching MFR therapists right away. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Beautiful. Wow. I mean, I love that you not only, just decided to create a new business, you actually went through this whole process of looking deep into yourself.
Yeah.
And inquiring and looking at your own patterns. And this is, you can not only help people who are in the myofascial release business because you understand the workings of it and how to build a right practice, but I bet you actually working with your clients a lot on their own mindset.
Yes.
And
It's
how
all,
they approach.
yeah. And it's all mindset. Like when we, through life coach school I go through, we are taught that your thoughts create your results. And so like, no matter what is happening, it is always neutral, like even terrible things, right? Like it's just circumstances are all of the things that we can't control, but what we can control is our thought about what has happened or what is going to happen. And your thoughts will trigger you to have a feeling. Your feelings create all of the ability for you to take action or not take action, and then ultimately leads you to your final outcome or your results. So knowing that model, I teach that to all of my clients, and it gives them a different perspective of most of us, like life is just happening to us. We've just accepted that that's how it is and we don't have any control. And this gives you a different way of looking at things, and you can do it for any circumstance, right? Like I've used it in relationships to heal relationships within my family that were very broken. And the other people don't have to know that I have this skill, and they don't have to change at all, which I find fabulous. So they don't
Beautiful.
even
Yes.
have to be a willing participant in order for you to have a better relationship with them.
Yes, like they say, you cannot change others. You can only change
No,
yourself. So you
exactly.
cannot expect others to be working to
Yeah.
help your relationships. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And so what I'm fascinated with, yes, we have to take action and we have to know ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but we also have to have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to know where we're going first and where we really are, where are we aligned to go first. And especially I think for female business owners, we often fall into that trap of becoming achievers and like really kind of wanting to succeed, but maybe that bigger vision of really what is valuable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe as a mother, as a woman, it's not just all about making the money, but the bigger vision. I think that you embody that. In my perspective, I've been following you. I feel like you embody that as well. Could you talk more about that and wherever it takes you?
Yeah, thank you. I really do think that sometimes we do not, and I'm guilty of this too, we don't dream big enough, right? Like we're limited by other people's dreams sometimes. And I think my biggest example of this is like hearing other MFR therapists talk about how they were going to make $100,000 in their business. And I was like, how how is that possible? Like I'm literally working my ass off over here, and I'm making, like 30 or $40,000 easily. But then I'm also turning around and spending all of that to take more training to be the best in my field, because like being, on the cutting edge and like always over delivering to my clients, is always my goal. So that fascinated me. And had I not heard that, I don't know that I would have ever changed how I was doing things. So like I heard that and I was like, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And, I've figured out a lot of ways to help other therapists to now create that outcome for themselves in their business. And lots of the people that I'm coaching are well on their way, or they'll hit that next year, not from working harder and not from serving less people, but from working in a different way where they are taking care of themselves first and then able to over deliver to their clients in a way that feels really good for them. And it's not always all about like jacking your prices up and then going into chaos within yourself because you're so uncomfortable. But raising your prices is part of that, and that's also goes into confidence building and the reasons behind why we set our prices the way we do. Most of us set prices based on what we feel comfortable with and what, Karen down the street is doing. And that doesn't make any sense as a business person or a businesswoman at all. You really need to know why you're setting your price for what you are, because then you love it. And the only person that has to like your price in order for it to be a successful price that people will pay is you. Like you are literally the only one that has to like it. And there's just no problems. And so I teach people how to do that. Most people are like, what is happening? How is that true?
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. So you had that inspiration. You saw others actually being able to do it or wanting to make more money. But what I love also about what you say is that, you kind of, you have to nurture yourself. You have to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Because we cannot over deliver from an empty cup.
No.
Right?
Right. And most people don't even know, I think, what they need or even what they want. Like, what is the most luxurious day for you in your work, right? Like, how does that start out? What is the most luxurious day for you on your days off? What are all of the pieces of it that make it juicy and delicious for you and make you look forward to that time versus what is your pattern that you just keep recreating for yourself? And at the end of the day, you have overwhelm and despair and like exhaustion and depression, right? And we just keep doing that because we think you have to hustle to be successful. And I just want to offer that you don't have to hustle. Like you can create big things without hustle, without burning out, and without exhaustion. And you can enjoy the journey as much as possible, like on purpose.
And I imagine you help more people that way, but you also help in a bigger way. Because if you are coming from that place of being nourished yourself and living a beautiful life, you're only going to be a better therapist. You're only going to be a better leader for your clients.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you're showing up desperate to be paid, right? Because you're not earning enough to pay your rent or you're just mentally exhausted, you're not going to show up in your full power to treat that client, no matter what service profession you're in. And people can tell. Like we may put on a good face and we may be able to hide a lot of things, but when you're really broken inside and like empty and feeling miserable, it does spill over. It shows up in you running behind in your schedule, overbooking yourself, getting sick. And if you do get sick, making it a problem that you have to take time off. Or the only time you take off is forced time off because you're sick. Like it shows up in all these different ways.
Yeah. Wonderful. And what I also, following your path as the coach, what I admire about you is your confidence and that ability to reach out and actually speak up about what you do with a lot of confidence. And I think one of the things that maybe some new therapists may be struggling is to be able to go out there and like show yourself who you are, show your value. We're not taught in our society that we actually have value to offer others. So I wonder, can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I would say like, thank you first for saying that I come across as being confident. That has come with, a lot of coaching and a lot of being willing to be awkward AF. Like if you if you go back and you look at some of my videos, my Facebook lives that I did a year ago, like half the time I forgot to turn my microphone on. Sometimes like they were 30 seconds long and I was totally sweaty. You can see me like physically taking deep breaths to calm down. Like I'm literally like, and I didn't even know I was being recorded. Right. So, being willing to go through that publicly, like while my grandma was the only one watching, right? Because she really was the only one that cared about what I was doing at the time. And just trusting, like, yeah, I'm gonna be bad at this, but I will be better. Like the next time I do it, I'm gonna know how to
Mhm.
turn my mic on. It might take me 5 times, and maybe I still don't turn my mic on all the time, but people don't really care that you're not perfect, and nobody is looking for you to be perfect. In fact, how awkward do you feel when you show up to something and the perception is the person you're talking to is perfect, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't allow for any like human space, and I'm very human. I have a human brain. I, will say things and then worry about what I said. And I used to do that all the time, but I do it less and less, right? Because now I'm on to myself about that. I also lose my train of thought all the time and have to start over, or I go on a tangent and I'm not sure what we were talking about. So that's just human. So I teach my clients really that first step of like, this is normal for you to feel this way. What happens if people see you? Right? Most people are so afraid of being seen. And it's like, I'm like, okay, go make a post on your business page and share it to your personal page where actually all of the people are. Because if you have a business page, usually the audience is much smaller than who you have personally in your life. And that page full of people that you have on Facebook that is your personal people, those are the people that probably like you the most, right? I mean, I'm sure we have some frenemies on there, who doesn't? But most people that are going to see that are going to be like, this is great. Like, congratulations to this person, like whatever you put out there. And if they don't like it, then they just scroll. Like, we live in a scrolling society. You're not actually able to bother people nowadays because you can unlike, unsubscribe, block, mute, whatever. So I like to remind people of that. Like, just put yourself out there, be as big as you can, and people will self remove themselves from something that they don't like. You don't
Mhm.
have to remove yourself ahead of time or edit yourself ahead of time to be good enough to show up in someone's feed. And the more you put yourself out there and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The first 100 or 200 posts I did, like I literally felt sick every time I sent them out because I was worried about it, right? But had I let myself indulge in that and keep myself small, I would still be where I was a year ago. And instead, like, this is growing and gaining momentum, and you're able to help more and more people because they know you're there. You can't help people if people don't know you're there. Just because we see, because we want people to see us, kind of. We make 2 posts, we think everybody should like our posts and instantly call and book with us, and that's just not how it works. You've got to put value out into the world, and then it's none of our business actually when we receive that value back, as in booked appointments and money in our bank.
Mhm. Yes, I love this, and because I think that in this whole social media world, there's so much emphasis on coming across as this perfect person,
Mhm.
and it's if you have a mission, if you actually want to help people, if you have something to offer, something of value that you think it's or that that's unique or will be helpful or will
Mhm.
change people's lives, you know, who cares? You don't want to be perfect because
No.
nobody, like you say, nobody relates to
No,
people who
it's
are perfect.
gross.
Like, who
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah, like,
this
"Oh, are you?"
beautiful,
Yeah.
like a perfect speaker out there on Instagram that I would never be. I'm not going
Mhm.
to reach out to that person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, I try to, you know, have my hair nice or whatever, and like have clothes on when I do my coaching. I always wear clothes.
Of course.
But like sometimes, you know what, like there's days where like I'm not going to put makeup on and people are still going to take my coaching. Like, I'm still professional, right? Like, we get to decide what professional is. Some people think it's shoulder pads and slacks. I think it's honoring commitments and doing what I say, right? So as
Yes.
long as I'm following what I believe is professional, then I can't help but show up in that way. Now, if someone else
Yes.
has a judgment against it, then that's fine. Like that, I'm not here to make everybody like me. The people that do like me, like those are my people. I don't have to convince them. And that can be the same for everyone in every service professional. You don't have to convince everybody to like you.
Yes, yeah, and I really appreciate what you say because professional doesn't mean coming across as perfect looking. It actually means to respect your clients and provide the best value you can. And
Yeah.
what is wearing a makeup gonna be actually helping your clients
No.
achieve better results, right? Of
Right.
course
No.
not. I
And at the
mean,
end of the day,
maybe.
nobody cares. if I have bags under my eyes, you know, like nobody
Exactly.
cares. Yeah.
And I think when it comes, what it comes down to is like knowing who your clients are, knowing what your mission is, how
Mhm.
you want to help them,
Yep.
and how do you nurture yourself so that you are showing up with all your gifts.
Mhm. Yeah. So for me, that looks like going back to what I said earlier, like really understanding how do I create the space for me to create? So what is a luxurious schedule for me? And what does that look like? So for me, it's like I don't see clients until 11 in the morning most days because I love to stay up all night. And sometimes I need a minute in the morning. I can still get up earlier, right? But I would be really pushing myself. And after weeks and weeks of doing that, I won't feel good. And then I got to take time off. So it's really honoring what my schedule is and trusting that there are enough humans on the planet that will also fall into that schedule and be able to work with me during the time that I'm open, right? Like you don't have to work on weekends. You don't have to work late at night in order to accommodate people. There are enough people out there that will just fit into the hours that you pick to work, which I find to be so freeing and liberating. And because most people are out there like working till 9 o'clock at night, working on Saturdays and Sundays. That sucks. Like, let's not do that. Dentists don't do that. Physicians don't do that. Um, bankers don't do that, right? Like, why do we have to do that just because we're in a service profession?
Yeah, I think it comes down to self-worth and knowing that you have value to offer that nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's a pain point, I think, for this area of service business,
Mm-hmm.
myofascial release, or in general therapy, is that we
Yeah.
don't value ourselves and we don't remember that we offer tremendous value to
Yeah.
clients.
And I'm here to just like scream in your face. Like usually I'm yelling at people, but I try not to, but like I get so worked up about it. I'm like, "Wah!" Um, just reminding you, like, of course you're gonna feel like insecure. Of course. But are you willing to feel insecure while you learn how to do it confidently? While you learn what your boundaries are and your policies? It's like, are you willing to? Because whether or not you feel insecure, like you're going to feel it anyway. Why not just like invite it in and be like, let's go, insecurity. What do you have for me today?
Here we
Right?
go. Yes.
Yeah.
Look into yourself and
And
just
I
become
keep this
comfortable.
jar. I keep this jar. It's called my barf jar. And I put a bead in it every time I do something that's barf worthy, which like makes me feel insecure or like anxious or whatever. And it's getting really full. I've
I
had this for the
love it.
last
I
year.
love it. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And, like I wrote my book, I put a bead in here. I asked, like people if they would sell it for me, I put a bead in here. Like all of the things that have gone to grow my business has filled this
Yes.
jar.
Yeah.
And when I see a lag in the amount of beads in here, I know that I'm not doing the scary things that build my
Mhm.
business. So,
Yes. I love that. The vision, the ability to know who you are and who your clients are, and that courage
mhm.
to step up and just try, like you said, try out your lives and try out just to
Just try
work
it
with
and
people.
just be like, of course this isn't going to feel good. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to feel good for it to be worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. See the bigger value in what you do
Yeah.
for yourself and for others. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm curious when you invite new clients into your coaching. How do you start the whole process?
So, like how do I
Because it's a
find
lot of work. It's
Yeah.
like digging deep into those patterns. I mean, that can be a scary kind of
Yeah, it can be, and I
investigation.
I think
Hmm.
sometimes too, people come to coaching and they think, "Okay, well, this person is gonna give me a blueprint or a marketing plan, and I'm gonna just copy and paste what they give me and create a 100K business, and I'm not gonna have to change anything about how I do things or about how I think about myself or about how I interact with the world." And then they're frustrated when actually they don't need a marketing plan. They need to know what they think about themselves and how that presents to the world, right? So, um, Yeah, I forgot your original question, but that was just like a little tangent.
Just it was sort of an open-ended question where if you have a new client, what do you first focus on? Like, how do you
Yeah.
let them how do you introduce them to this sort of maybe complex kind of work, because you
Yeah.
have to look deep into your patterns.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So we do it in like bite-sized chunks, and now that I'm doing all group coaching, it's like introducing
mhm,
it to people that your thoughts create your results. And like, what is the difference between a circumstance,
mhm,
a thought, and a feeling? Because most of us just like it's all the same thing.
mhm,
So teaching them the different layers of that, and then how they can apply it to their business. So we do that, but then at the same time, we do all of the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of like, what do you need to have a business? Like, do you have an LLC? Do you have the right bank accounts? Do you have insurance? Do you have all those things? Where's your website? What's on it? Where can you be found? And then the other thing that I picked up from another coach, her name's Stacy Bayman. She's amazing. She's a coach for other coaches.
mhm,
Her process is meet people, tell them you're a life coach, and make offers to help them.
mhm,
And so like that same logo or lingo applies for my clients. So I'm always like, make sure you are introducing yourself to people. Find people all of the time, new people to meet. Tell them that you're an MFR therapist and offer to help them or someone that they love. I have a therapist that did that. She just went from working for someone else to opening up her own practice and spent a few seconds talking to some other people and made $2,000 off of the referrals she got from those 2 seconds, right? And it was totally beyond her comfort
mhm,
level to go and introduce herself, but she just started doing it. And now she's getting like 10 new clients a month, which is insane when you just open your practice.
mhm. Wow.
So, I mean, it's not hard, and you don't have to have any skills other than just like have a body and have a mouth that moves.
Wow, okay, I love this. And yeah, and you know what? What's awesome about it is that I think you really help people understand that yes, it's okay to talk about yourself,
Yeah.
and it's okay to share your client's successes. It's okay to
Mhm.
say, hey, I mean, my client got this amazing success from working on herself because I helped her
Yeah.
and I led her through that process.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about having group coaching,
Mhm.
um, which is probably adding another dimension, which is that support of the group, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about your groups? I know that you're having
Yeah.
another
So
one
this has been
come
the
up,
first
right?
first time I ran group for the last year. I've just been doing
Yes.
one-to-one coaching 12 weeks at a
Mhm.
time. So that's been super fun, but like to be able to offer this to 20 people at a time is pretty amazing. And the energy of the group is so cool. Like even the people that are private coaching with me, like I'll be getting private messages from them all day, like I'm doing this and this happened and this happened. And then at the same time, I check into the Facebook group and like they're all winning too. Like it's like we all are going together, which is an added bonus that I wasn't like thinking when I created this. Like this is how it's going to go. Someone else is going to see what's possible, and then they're going to put themselves out there. They're going to get their website done a little bit faster. They're going to decide that online scheduling is for them because it's okay for these other people. And it's just win after win after win. And then when something goes wrong, then we can problem solve it. And it doesn't have to become a problem. So
Mhm.
I also teach everybody how to do an evaluation. Like if they have a weird client interaction or people are canceling or they weren't able to close a sale, like what's going well, what isn't going well, and what can they do differently next time. So they have a map of exactly what to try instead of doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result and wondering why it's not working.
Mhm. Wow. Yes. Now, I've just what really gets my attention is that having a group coaching, a group that you can join is it's an added value to it because there's more brains, and we all
Mhm.
have our own different, very unique experience, and we can share
Yeah.
and also teach others. Right? We
Mhm.
learn through teaching others very, very much so in many ways. So,
Mhm.
and that
Yeah.
maybe some competition too. Who's going to get their website first up?
Right, right,
So,
and we just did a
yeah.
module on that where,
Mhm.
like, I walked them through I give everybody access to my MFR website, right? So that they can take inspiration from that. So I do a
Great.
training on that.
Yeah.
And then everybody in the group goes and gets theirs done and then posts them in the group. And
Mhm.
then you have 20 brains looking at that like, "Oh, look, you have a typo here and this is just way too wordy and I don't even know what it is that you do here."
Mhm.
And fixing it right away instead of having your website run for 5 years and not and it's not doing anything for you. Like, do you have to have a website to be successful? No, but if you have that and increase your searchability and people can book online when they're searching in the middle of the night because they're on pain or they're in pain, they're not on pain,
Mhm.
they're in the pain, and they're on your website looking to book, right?
Yeah.
And if they
Mhm.
can't, they're moving on to the next person that does
Yeah.
have that
Mhm.
available.
But these are all things that, it's really hard to think about it yourself
Mhm.
and actually be, on top of everything. But if you have this beautiful group that support you and, everybody bringing in some pieces of information alongside with, you, it becomes, I mean, I can just see how it becomes this amazing, thriving business really fast. You don't have to
Yeah.
struggle so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I also love,
exactly.
the group. It's we're not. I think that the old model of like we're in competition with each other. That we only have a pool of clients that we have to fight for. It's not true. It's
Yeah,
absolutely,
no. It's
yeah.
not. And even people that live in really small towns and they kind of have this thought like, well, I'm moving to a small town, so I can't really do this, or this is like a deficit for me. And I like to look at it like, well, how many hundreds of people live in that town, even if it's very small? Because I started in a one stoplight town. And when you believe that there's enough bodies for everyone, and that people are coming. Like I had people driving from hours away. Like literally doesn't really matter where you are. People will come to see you. Just like, if I was in your area, I would like come to see you for treatment. I go to Sedona all the time on purpose to get treated, right? I've driven hours to get treated before. Like people will do that. You just have to believe that they will do that for your therapy.
Mhm.
And when you have that kind of energy out in the world, it attracts those people that want what you have. So you're not spending a lot of time convincing people that don't want what you have. You're spending all of your energy focused on the people that lovingly want to spend money with you and lovingly want your services.
Beautiful. Wow. So I know that you have a new group coming up. Can you tell us more about it and how people can connect with you?
Yeah. So get on my email list at themfrcoach.com.
Okay.
And on Black Friday, I'm releasing 20 spots for my next group. So that those will be open until those seats are full. And we start in January. So kind of make your decision now about how you want to start your year in your business. And like, could 2022 be your best year in business ever and your least stressful year? It'll be the year that you finally have control over everything going on in your business and you serve your clients at the highest level possible.
Wonderful. Wow. Well, if you're a myofascial release therapist and you dream of having a thriving, amazing practice, making money, but also, having a great life, well, reach out to Heather. And
Yeah.
I am going to put that your email in the YouTube notes so that everybody can
Awesome.
reach out and connect with Heather, ask her questions. I'm
Yeah.
sure she can talk with you, right?
Yeah. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I'm like
Uh-huh.
I'm always there. So,
Yes.
yep.
You putting yourself out there and just giving an example. I mean, I'm learning from you so much because just watching you and what you present and your confidence and your lifestyle, it's beautiful. And again, it's not about being this perfect person. It's about sharing yourself so you can give inspiration to others.
Well,
And you
thank
never know
you.
where it's gonna take you.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I receive that so much. It's just like so fun to know that, people are watching and people do get value just from showing up, right? And
Mhm.
that's important. So I appreciate you saying that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Heather. So we are going to share your information in the YouTube link description. And yes, again, reach out to Heather. And I really appreciate you coming up and sharing some pieces of great advice for new starting out business owners. And my hope is that many of you will get inspired and start to think of your future and your business and your vision in a new way. And well, until next time, I appreciate you all. Thank you, Heather, again for your time and your wisdom that you shared today. And have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.